County Council. I represent the Near East Side, where my family has lived for 7 generations. On the council, I also serve as the vice president. In the last term, we privatized some of the parking in Indianapolis, the meters. It was a 50-year deal. It was supposed to bring about efficiencies and accountability. The questions that you look at are ones of efficiencies, accountability, but also some other impacts. Intergenerational, as mentioned. In 50 years, there will be 13 separate mayors, possibly, 13 councils. If you think about the college education, maybe it's 4 years, maybe it's not, you could be looking at between 10 and 13 entire classes coming through the university over the span of time that this would be done. The idea that there is efficiencies in privatization is possible, question of competition. But these deals, at least what we've seen at the city, don't come from efficiencies and innovation. They come from the fact that they collect extra revenue through higher rates and fines, and unlike other private businesses, they avoid costs, like maintaining the places where people park. The private contractor is not responsible for clearing the snow, not responsible for paving the street. That falls to the taxpayers. And so you end up with a situation where they are able to make excess profits that is not necessarily needed, whether you're running a city or potentially a university, but you end up with a situation where it is being subsidized. At the same time, the city took some of that money, and guess what it did with it? Privatization is supposed to be the answer to parking. Subsidized a garage in Broadway. The city is using other funds to subsidize parking garages in downtown Indianapolis, where there already are parking garages that have been developed by people who have taken that entrepreneurial risk and are running their parking garages. So you have questions of efficiencies and intergenerational. But the real question ends up being accountability. Whether you're electing a mayor or trustees and the president of the university, they're hired to run that enterprise. Look back to the private sector. That is what is touted. Where in the private sector could someone be hired and on the first day say, I need to hire someone else to do my job? And that is exactly what this is about. Indianapolis already had a private vendor who did some of the functions, which seemed to be appropriate, but to give an equity stake, that is, what is the money that's paid by your tuition and by tax dollars to the extent that this is not taxable property, and give that to a private entity who will own that and have that for 50 years, is, to me, highly questionable, if not unconscionable. So it's important to stay engaged in these issues. Watch as what happens in Indianapolis. Chicago was a great example that we didn't learn from. They had a 75-year lease, billions of dollars, and when you look and understand that it's not rocket science here, is it? Right? You have a piece of land, whether it be a spot on the street or a lot or a garage, and you collect the money and you deposit it in the bank. And you make sure that asset is maintained. Well, the university and the city are still responsible for maintaining that asset. Some other entities responsible for raising the rates, raising the fines, and we had confusion with the parking meters to where maybe it's happened to you, where you think you've paid and you haven't, and you will see a fine. And so you see the rates go up, the fines go up, the number of violations go up, and the public benefit go down. The last thing I'll leave you with is, intergenerationally, I believe our responsibility is to pass along as many benefits to the people, our children and grandchildren come behind us, and leave as few costs. This flips that completely, where we take all the benefits now and leave all the costs and the maintenance to those that are yet to come. So I appreciate being able to come out and talk with you guys and interested in what other folks have to say. Thanks.